Hey everyone, let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm just trying to get this set up. Let's see. All right, I think I'm live. Let me know if I'm live. Pretty sure I'm live. But correct me if I am wrong. Sorry, I'm just posting the alert to various channels so people know I'm live. All right, guys. Well, all right, what do you guys got? Business as usual. I guess I should say thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Here we are again. The crypto markets are moving. Link is obviously the talk of the town. It's the one that's primarily going up. I mean, of course, there are others, but it is the one that has seen a lot of movement recently. One of the things I looked at this. I guess you could call it a fractal. I looked at this a while ago, and I thought about making a video on it, but I didn't. And maybe I'll just talk about it in the live stream. But the general thing, right, that I was looking at is this kind of movement here. Not that traditional, or not that this is meaningful in any way, but just taking, say, like these measured moves from, say, a pump up. So we went from 15 cents up to 62 cents, and here we went from $1.80 up to $4. So if we take a measured move of Link, so this is Link USD, from the bottom to the top there, was around a 250% move. And then if we do it again, from here to this top, it was around a 200% move, okay? So just bear with me for a minute. So similar type of move here and here. Then each one of them was followed by a fairly significant crash of around 70%, okay? So around a 200% move up, followed by a 70% crash, just going to the candle, not the wick. So you see the similarities at 250, 200, 70% drop. And then after that, what happened? We saw a 180% move up. And then on this one, what did we see? We saw around 160% move up, okay? Then after that, what happened? We went sideways. So this one went sideways for about 107 days, and then this one over here went sideways for also around 100 days or so, okay? And then, after all that, we saw another move. And we saw the first pump. This one went up 250% from the sideways movement. And then this one went up 145%. And then after those moves, we saw a retracement, a 40% retracement. And then over here, again, a 30% retracement. And then since then, after that, after this retracement, then Link from the last time pumped another 450%. And from this current retracement, it's already up around 100%. But notice that the first move was 250 compared to 150. So we're kind of seeing the volatility reduce. I would not expect this to go up 500%. If it did go up 500%, it would put it, yeah, I'd put it way too high. It'd probably be like $40 or so. But I mean, it's not that hard to imagine a continuation move over a few weeks. I mean, because even these moves that you see, right? They take place over, it's not just a single day. If you take, say, a measured move from, say, here to here, It was over about 3 weeks or so. So I'm just saying, like, it's something that looks kind of interesting. If you didn't catch all those moves, maybe just go back and watch it. But just the general fractal there. And if I just outline it quickly one more time for people who are joining now, you can kind of see it. I mean, just by the lines that I drew, right? So you can kind of see it, like the move up, the crash, side, move back up, but the move back up was lower than the previous peak. Then sideways move, first pump, dump, second pump, and then continue on. So just as a reminder, we had it, the first pump, 180%, similar to this one, 180% or so, and then from there, I'm just going to redo it one more time so people new can see it. Then from there, a 70% drop, so similar. Then after that, we saw it pump back up, but not quite to the peak it was at before. This one went up around, if we just take it to the middle section where it basically went sideways, not the actual top, around 130%. This one also did not go all the way back up to the prior peak, but if you take it to the middle, around 150%, what's a few percentage points among friends? And then after that, we have the sideways movement for about 100 days. Again, with Link, sideways movement for around 100 days or so, maybe a little bit less on that one. And then first pump, 250%. Again, from here, it was smaller, 150. Then a move down, a 40% move down over here as well. 30% move down. And then a final move up on the last one, which was several 100%. And this one I would not anticipate being quite as strong. But I mean, it already is up, 135% or so from the bottom. So let me know what you guys think about that. I don't really know how informative that would be, but it just seemed like a nice little fractal that it seemed like it was at least worth mentioning in terms of the market sentiment. So let me know what you guys think. As far as Link, I mean, this is a fairly significant move, right? I mean, it was less than, it was only a few bucks not that long ago. I mean, even in June, it was only like $4 or so. Let me go ahead and remove all this stuff, but. Yeah, as I've mentioned before, one of the bigger concerns with Link, right, is that so much of it is owned by such a small amount of addresses, which obviously puts a little bit of skepticism, right? I mean, I've gone through every project that I talk about. I've talked about some of the negative parts of it, right? And that is one. It's probably one of the bigger concerns for Link is that so much Link is held by so few addresses. But I mean, still, I mean, the data for Link is fairly impressive if you look at the long haul, right? And even its track record against Bitcoin is really impressive. This is as I've said for a long time now, this is a trend I want to be a part of. It's a trend I want to be a part of, and that's why I always say, Link is one of those coins. By not having it not having Link is a significant amount of risk, right? So not having it, there is a lot of risk. So someone says, Ben, are you familiar with the opticalcharts.com guy with the fib retracement rings? He is constantly bearish, warning people of impending Bitcoin dumps as low as 1.7 USD and alike. Any comment? Yeah, I'm glad you asked that because I do have an opinion about that. First of all, fear sells in a sense, right? Like if you go and look at people that and I'm not saying anything specific about him, but if you go and look at people who always say that Bitcoin is dumping, it's like, I think it's like a marketing tactic, because like people get fearful and then they naturally like want to click on it, right? But I've looked at a lot of these other channels. I'm not saying anything specific about that one, because I'm not that familiar with that one specifically. But a lot of these channels that are like perma bears, like every video, like if you just go look at their their videos, like it's like every video says like Bitcoin is crashing, like, and then you go back and look at, like, since March, it's like every video says Bitcoin is crashing in the title, and then you go back and look at the price of Bitcoin over the last 4 or 5 months, and it's basically, I mean, it did crash in March, but it's basically just been going up, and despite the fact that it's just been going up, a lot of videos from perma bears just keep saying it's going to crash. So again, nothing in particular with that person, because I'm not too familiar with that person, but as I've said before, these types of tactics exist every cycle. The call for an even lower Bitcoin, and then it keeps people being fearful, right? And because of that, the people like kind of like they miss out. I mean, if you follow a lot of the people that were calling for or when Bitcoin was, say, $3,100 or $3,500, $3,800, they were also saying, it was going to go to $1,000 or $1,200, and they just always say it, right? Because if they deviate from what they've been saying, then they kind of have to admit to their followers, oh yeah, like, I was wrong. I was, you were basically eating what I was serving, and now I want to take the food back. So, I mean, if you see someone that is just constantly calling for like a lower and lower target, I think they're more so doing it for clicks than anything. So again, not talking about anyone in particular, but in my experience, perma bears just tend to put the word Bitcoin crashing in the video title of basically every single video, just to generate the clicks, right? And it's the same idea, right? If you say it's pumping to $1 million, you just constantly make video titles that say Bitcoin to $1 million in 2021, and it generates the clicks. Like, I mean, it's all about the clicks at the end of the day for a lot of people. I mean, it's hard, right? As someone making YouTube videos myself, like, I recognize, like, those clickbait titles, those are the ones that get the views. So it's like wrestling with, okay, well, what do I say in the title to where it's like something I think is actually believable, but then also generates enough interest for people to click on it, right? Like when I make videos on Bitcoin and say like, oh, modern portfolio theory and the efficient frontier, like no one cares about it. I make a video that says link to $100, and it's like it gets 10,000 views in a day. So it really is kind of, it's basically playing the game in a sense. And what have we been saying all along on this channel? Like, what have we been saying all along? We've stayed. It's been the same thing, right? Even at the crash, we were following primarily Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, and ADA, and saying that this move, that was the time to get in, And I said that with ADA. I mean, who watched those videos? Basically at 2 cents, at 3 cents, all the way up to 10 cents. I said I was buying ADA. And then with Link, saying that this is probably going to happen. Like, it's going to continue to go up. We know that it reduces your risk-adjusted or increases your risk-adjusted returns. And it's just about taking advantage of short-term speculative bubbles. And we said, right, that if Bitcoin goes above the 20-week, it's going to, and stays stable for a while, it's going to leave room for other coins to move. And what exactly happened? So here's Bitcoin. This was the crash that we saw back in March. I mean, this, by the way, this is the nice capitulation that you want to see, This one, not as much of it wasn't as big of a deal. I think most people were pretty bearish anyways. Obviously, I think it was maybe like half and half. Obviously, some people were calling for, something like this where it would, start to go up, and then other people were calling for it to go down. It was a pretty mixed bag there. But this, right, I mean, who remembers that morning? Like where you wake up and you see your portfolio down like 60%. that's the gut punch, right? That's the catalyst, I think, that really the market needed, that is now propelling another bubble. And during this move, you know, I told you the coins I was buying. What happened over here? I made several videos that said this is the reaccumulation range of Bitcoin. This is not a distribution phase, like a lot of people were saying. I said this is a likely reaccumulation phase. Go look at the video. We called it the preamble to the bull market. Another video. Of course, you have to hedge your bet because no one knows where it's going to go. Like I said, I thought we were going to see a short-term speculative bubble this summer. That's what I said. Of course, I also said it's possible that we come back down to the 200 week. It always is possible. And I say that every single time. Like, you don't seek out the 200 week, but you must always be ready for it to happen. This is the premise with the 200 week moving average. And during this time, like during this reaccumulation phase of Bitcoin, what did it allow to happen? It allowed Ethereum and a lot of other coins to move. It allowed these moves, right? These moves right here. Without Bitcoin stabilizing like that, it doesn't really give other coins the chance to feel the glory. Like they basically are just always playing catch up with Bitcoin. But when Bitcoin does what it's doing, and it pumps up and then it moves sideways, and then it pumps up and then it moves sideways. It's when Bitcoin pumps, a lot of other coins kind of sit and watch. And then when Bitcoin stops pumping, it gives other coins the time to shine. Right, and if Bitcoin holds this bullish level, I mean, if it stays right up at this level, 11.7, 11.8, I mean even 11.5, you're probably going to see another breakout with Ethereum. It's not that unlikely that's what we see. That we see Ethereum break through 400 and go on up to 450, 500, maybe even higher, maybe up to 600, 700. It just depends on how long Bitcoin can keep this up. So what I'm personally looking for, right, is I'm looking at Bitcoin, right, and I'm saying, you know what, 11.7, it's still relatively bullish, and let's put on the daily time frame here, and let me just go ahead and hide these moving averages because it's fairly obnoxious to have all these on here. Let me go ahead and remove this too. So, this is Bitcoin, sideways for a long time. During that time period, a lot of coins made moves. A lot of coins in decentralized finance made moves. Link was making really good moves. ADA, and I'm not even talking about the current Link move. ADA went up 600%. VeChain went up like 700% or something. A lot of coins made a lot of moves in this region. And then this happens, and then a lot of the coins start to sit still again, and then it starts moving sideways again, and then it gives coins like Link, like Ethereum, other coins, they start moving again because they get their confidence from Bitcoin. That is where they get their confidence in the market from Bitcoin. If an altcoin is up 100% in a short period of time, people are naturally skeptical. They look to Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing? Well, a couple weeks ago, Bitcoin was less than 10K, and now it's just shy of 12K. It's just shy of $12,000. This is really bullish, and Bitcoin did not just immediately retrace to this level. If Bitcoin does retrace back down to below 10K, rest assured that a lot of coins will lose a lot of their gains, and they'll probably bleed against Bitcoin. And the reason is because a lot of them are up also more significantly than Bitcoin. So like if you have coins that are up like 600, 700% in a short period of time, and then you see Bitcoin drop. If Bitcoin were to drop, right, 20%, then these other coins are likely dropping 30%, 40%, maybe even 50%. Alternatively, if you see this just continue to go sideways, what's going to happen? Well, again, other coins are going to start picking up steam again, and Ethereum too is one of those ones that would probably pick up steam again at some point, as long as Bitcoin stays at this level. We're not even saying Bitcoin has to go up. In fact, it's my opinion. I mean, if you're talking about, say, the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio, right? So let's talk about the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio. Let's pull up that chart. So Ethereum, Bitcoin. So if you're talking about the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio here, right, it would be better, this would probably be better for Ethereum if Bitcoin does not move. So in terms like, let's just say if Bitcoin moves sideways, then the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio would probably continue to go up, right? Because, Bitcoin's remaining bullish, therefore Ethereum probably gets more confidence and it continues going up. If Bitcoin goes up quickly, right? If you see Bitcoin, as we've said before, and the reason why I repeat it is because the market doesn't really change. The fundamentals of how things move doesn't really change that much. If Bitcoin starts to make a move to 12K to 13K to 14K and it does it rather quickly, then I would expect the Ethereum ratio against Bitcoin to come back down. So the main thing that doesn't mean Ethereum USD will go down. Ethereum USD would probably go up. It's just that against Bitcoin, if Bitcoin were to pump quickly, Ethereum would probably lose valuation against Bitcoin. And then also, if really for Ethereum, what I would hope, honestly speaking, is I don't want to say hope because there's always advantages to seeing Ethereum retrace some. Like if seeing Ethereum retrace back into the regression band could present a nice opportunity. But if it doesn't, right, if we do go into a summer speculative bubble, even more so than we currently are, then the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio would probably be best off if Bitcoin chills out for a little bit, right? It gives Ethereum room to make that move. Right. So the point, right, is the ratio against Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up, then most likely Ethereum's going up. But I'm just talking about in reference to the ratio of Ethereum against Bitcoin. It depends on what your perspective is, right? Like if your perspective is USD, then Bitcoin going up is generally good for the entire market. If your perspective is Bitcoin, then owning 90% of your portfolio in altcoins when Bitcoin is going up generally makes your Bitcoin valuation bleed. This is the point. So, any questions? Make sure you guys check out the public Telegram channel. I'll go ahead and put it in the chat if you guys want to join. We have over 5,100 people. And also, I would appreciate it if you guys could give the video a like, because we only have like 108 likes. So we have about 20% likes compared to concurrent viewers on the channel. And let me know what questions you guys have. We're the markets are alive right now. It seems like they're moving. You see a lot of coins. Not just Link. There's other coins moving right now too. And if Bitcoin stays sideways for a while, it's probably going to give these coins more room to grow, right? More room to grow. And then once they do that, people will probably take profits. And guess where that money goes? It probably goes back into Ethereum and back into Bitcoin, and the dance continues. And we just keep swinging along for as long as we can, taking profits for as long as we can, and then at some point the party's over. But again, no one knows where the top is, and this is one of the things I talk about on the channel a lot, right? There's some people, right? I see the comments on the channel all the time. The people that say, the best strategy is buy and hold. Well, with all due respect, how is that strategy working out when you're telling people that the best strategy is to buy and hold when Bitcoin is up here, right? How are they doing now? How do they feel now? And this is the point. Like, buying and holding forever is it can make it so that you really have to spend like 10 years to see a nice ROI. Yeah, if you go back in history and look at the Bitcoin history, we see, right? I mean, if we just zoom all the way out, yeah, I mean, if you zoom all the way out, then sure, like buying Bitcoin here and riding through this and not selling and then selling up here would have been lucrative, right? The point of this channel, right, is to try to identify these speculative bubbles so that you're not just spent waiting a long time to get to the next one. This is the point. And the reason why I think this is important is because I think the cycles are lengthening. So, you know, if you bought up here and you were just going with a buy and hold strategy, then you would have had to wait just so long just to break even. I mean, it would have taken you, you know, almost 4 years just to break even, and then you would have seen a nice profit. So the same thing holds up here. If you buy up here and you just held, you're having to wait. You're still not even at a profit with Bitcoin yet because it's still below its prior all-time high if you bought at the top. So naturally speaking, I mean, if you think that Bitcoin is going to go to 100K and you think Ethereum is going to go to 10K, there's nothing wrong, right, with just buying. I mean, this is not financial advice. There's nothing wrong with just buying these assets and then waiting a few years and hoping that they come up to the, you know, to the red regression line, to a nice sell reach. And there's nothing wrong with that. What I try to do is I try to take advantage of these things, of these speculative bubbles that come up in the short term. So like moves like this that could happen, you know, and they come back down and then back up. So I recognize the argument for buying and holding. The issue, right, is if your strategy is buy and hold, then when do you sell? And you need to figure out, okay, like, well, what would cause you to sell? Are you just going to hold it for 30 years and not use it as a way to grow your wealth in the meantime? Or are you trying to take profit? So for me personally, I'm using it as kind of like another income stream, right? I systematically take profits on the way up, and then I buy in the other times. So this is what I do. So again, it's nothing against the person who would define themselves as a hodler. It's nothing against that. In fact, I mean, you know, if you are going to be defined as that, certainly buying within, you know, during the regression band years is probably better. The issue that I would say is, you know, like if you're okay seeing a bubble and then not taking profits, and that's fine. I mean, and then maybe you sell later on. The question is would you sell at that point? You know, would you sell at this point? And this is the main thing you just need to think about, right? Because, you know, the gains that we're seeing today are nice, right? I mean, seeing Link go up so much in such a short period of time, seeing Ethereum go up, seeing ADA go up, obviously it's a really nice thing to see. The question, right, is, you know, what if they go up? What if they all go up 10x or 20x? You know, this could be life-changing money for a lot of people, and I just want people to be aware that things like that can happen really quickly. So you could see things, you know, maybe we just kind of stay in the regression band or something, but then at some point things can get crazy really quickly. So I just want you to be prepared for that. So I mean, get all the kinks worked out now, right? Because when the time comes, and it will come, there's going to come a day, right, when it's gonna be the end in the short term. And if you go look at the video that I did on the halving, it kind of outlines what I thought was going to happen. And so far, I think it's a pretty good projection, right? I mean, we're going to go up. We're going to see these retracements. Bitcoin's going to get to 10K. People are going to say it's going to retrace. But then there's going to come a time where it doesn't, right? And this is what I said in May at the halving. There's going to come a time Bitcoin's going to get to 10K. Everyone's going to be expecting a retracement because all the bears on YouTube, all the perma bears on YouTube are saying it has to crash down to $1,800, but it doesn't. And then it continues to slowly trickle on up, right? And we've looked at this before. I mean, this is what happened last time. You take the bottom to the previous all-time high, it moves up slower, and then once you get to that point, it goes parabolic. and the same thing projected for this cycle potentially, you know, like if we just draw that over, you know, something like that, and then we say, all right, well, from the bottom to the prior all-time high, it's going to be a slower move up, you know, and depending on exactly when it hits there, it will determine that slope. And then once we get there, then it probably goes parabolic, right? This is the thesis that we talk about, and so at some point, and I'm not saying that this is the time, but it could be at some point we're going to get to 10K. Everyone's going to say it's going to retrace, but it doesn't, right? And then it goes to 11K. Then it goes to 12K, and then maybe it pulls back to 11K. You guys should go watch this rant I had on the halving video a few months ago. And then it pulls back to 11K, and then all the bears, all the friendly neighborhood bears come out and start dancing, telling you, I told you so, you know, we're going back down. But it doesn't. It starts to go back up. And then it breaks 12K, maybe it breaks 13K, 14K, and then the bears come out again. They say, hey, it's going back down. We're going to go back down. We have to retest 3.5. There's a 4-hour gap, 4-hour CME gap that is really irrelevant, but it has to test that point. Oh, hyperwave theory, we have to go back down to 1200, whatever the argument is, but it doesn't. And then we continue marching on up. Eventually we get to 20K. Some of the people, you know, more of the dumb money starts to roll in, and then it starts to take place. It starts to get hold of the news. The news media starts saying, oh, Bitcoin's back to its previous all-time high. A lot of dumb money pours in, and then instead of seeing it go up, it probably retraces, right? And maybe it gets to 20K, and then it retraces back to 14K, and then it kind of like, it's like a gut punch, like to all those people that were waiting on the sidelines for it to get to its previous all-time high to invest. Then they do it, and then it then maybe retraces back down, but it doesn't go back down to 3K. You know, it continues slowly marching on up the curve, and then eventually it gets above 20K, and then people are like, whoa, like what's going on? And then it tests 20K and it holds it as support, right? And it holds it as support for a few months potentially, and then at some point after holding it as support for a while, starts to move up, and then it gets to 30K, and then it goes to 40K, and then the neighborhood bears come back out and say this is the top, but it's not, and then it starts to pick up steam, and then maybe it has one of those shorter term bubbles. It retraces 30%, it goes back down to 30K or so, and then people say I told you so, but it holds support at the 20-week, and it continues its march upwards, right? It continues that slow march upwards. This is probably like 2022 we're talking about now. And then, you know, eventually it gets back to like 50K, and then it starts to really go parabolic. You know, it gets to 60K, 70K, and people are going crazy. The media is covering it. You know, they're saying Bitcoin's going to 100K. All the YouTubers are calling for $1 million Bitcoin, and people, you know, your grandmother's asking you how they can buy Bitcoin. You have friends saying, hey, can I buy that Bitcoin off you for $10,000? So, you know, and you say no, it's ridiculous. Like, and then it goes up, right? And then it goes into a bubble, and then all the dumb money pours in. The FOMO goes to the roof. Ben tries to make a video warning people, hey, you know, it's getting out of hand. But the dumb money rolls in, and the reason is because the amount of money, the amount of people coming in at that point will probably dwarf the amount of people in the space right now. And any attempt to tell people any type of reason, to give them any type of reason as to why it won't go to $1 million to $1 million will be met with deaf ears, and it gets to maybe 100K, maybe 140K, maybe 160K, I don't know, probably somewhere between 100 to 200, and then silence, and then it drops, and it drops like 40% in one day, and when it does that, it's going to absolutely wreck a ton of people. Like, there's going to be so many people that were buying Bitcoin at 100K because, you know, such and such YouTuber told them it was going to go to $1 million, or, you know, they saw in the news that it was going to go to $1 million, and it doesn't, and it's going to really hit hard. And this is why we stay on the channel, you know, buying in the regression band, you know, at these support levels, this, right, is the accumulation phase of a lifetime, you know. These regions, let me delete some of these lines. So, right, these points, these are the accumulation regions, right? I mean, I know it looks simple, but it's really, I mean, it looks maybe oversimplified. And then we sell, the sell points are kind of up here. And so by the time we get out to 2023 or so, I mean, you can imagine that this is going to be around $100,000. And this is when people start saying, oh, well, it only has to go up another 10x and we'll be, at $1 million. But it doesn't do that, right? I mean, it just probably doesn't do that. And instead, it goes from maybe like 140, it drops back down. Maybe it drops back down to 80K, 60K, 70K. People get scared, some people capitulate, and then we see a dead cat bounce. And then it goes back up, and then maybe it goes back up to around 100, but it kind of peters out at that point, and then starts to come back down. And then from there, we probably retrace, right? We probably retrace over the next few years back to our regression line. And I think in 2024, 2025 or so, the fair value would be around this point over here. So you can imagine extending this out and extending this out like this. So maybe we slowly go up here and then retrace back to this point, and then we sit at around 40 to 50K for a couple years. We slowly build back off of it. We're going really long term now. I'm gonna have to refit this regression band after the next cycle anyways, but and then we start to come back up, and then we'll probably break through 100, we'll probably break through 200. I'm speculating that by 2031, 2032, sometime in that area, we'll probably get up to $300,000 to $500,000, and then it comes back down to the regression line. Maybe it's around 100K at that point, I don't know. And then ultimately, if we get to $1 million, it'll probably be in the 2040s. Do people want to hear that? Most people don't want to hear it. Is this what the math suggests, what the data suggests? Yes, it is, because cycles are lengthening. In my opinion, your projected returns are diminishing, right? And you either use this information to make smart decisions and take profits on the way up, or you don't, and you buy it. Maybe you're buying it all the way up, and then you watch it come back down, and it sucks, and then you have to wait 7 years before it even to get to the point where you bought it. So this is the point. This is what I'm trying to come to you guys now in 2020, so that when I bring the message, right, of what I think's happening in 2 or 3 years, some people will listen, because you guys were the ones that were the smart money buying, around the regression band. And remember, we could be in this band for a long time, and we could stay here for another year potentially. So I would just say treat it. I mean, it's not financial advice. But personally, I just treat it as an opportunity. I invest in a lot of different asset classes. Just crypto is one of them. I try to come into crypto when it makes sense to come into crypto. When you're up here, it does not make sense to come into crypto. When you're already up 20x, 30x, this is the risk on that is too high for me. But now, when we're still relatively low, we admit, yeah, we could come back down in the short term. No big deal. Business as usual. Just provides an opportunity. We'll likely continue to trend up over the next several years. And because of that, we're gonna even have more Bitcoin that we can offload to the dumb money, right? To the dumb money in a few years. This is my thesis, right? We'll see if it plays out. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But this is what I think. This is what I think will happen over the next several years. By the way, evolution, not revolution, says stock to flow is a great indicator, very compelling math. I mean, I don't really know what you're talking about. It's basically y equals mx plus b and saying it's an r squared of 0.99. I mean, a middle schooler could do this. I mean, I don't really know what is so compelling about that. In fact, a lot of assets don't follow that at all. And you could imagine a lot of different scenarios where it would not be worthwhile. I mean, imagine if the supply schedule of Bitcoin were only, instead of reducing by half, it reduces by, say, like 1% every 4 years, or approximately every 4 years. This doesn't actually, it would not hold the stock to flow model, because at that point it doesn't incentivize people early enough on to get onto the network and to be mining. And then if it reduced by 95% each year, then it would make it so that new people would have no interest in getting in, because it's almost like the only people that it really benefits are the people that got in when they were earning 95% more Bitcoin or something. So the whole stock to flow stuff, you know, I mean, in my opinion, it's more of a marketing thing than something that. And again, I mean, even the guy who made it recently made a new model where he removed time from the model altogether, which is probably, I mean, from his perspective, is probably a smart thing to do, right? Because it's hard to predict exact timings of things. So, I mean, it's nothing against that model. I mean, everyone has their own model. I'm sure they could easily poke holes in my models and try to say, you know, well, you didn't consider this. But it's just my opinion that, you know, there's so many ways that stock to flow already does not make sense. And the reason it's so popular is not because of the math. It's just because it tells people $100,000 Bitcoin in 2021, and that's what people want to hear. So let me know what you guys think. Sorry for my my rant there, but I'm just tired of people constantly posting stock to flow $100,000 Bitcoin in 2021 because of some very simple regression fit. Like, I would like to remind you guys that if you want access to the premium content, I do let people know kind of what I'm doing in the markets and how I see the markets. So check out intothecryptoverse.com. You'll get access to a weekly premium video, a weekly premium report, a Telegram alerts channel that tells you my candid thoughts in the market, what I'm doing. We talked a lot about Link today when it was around $13.60. So be sure to check that out, and then you also get access to a risk dashboard with the risk metrics for a lot of these coins. And this is what I trade based on. It's all trading based on the risk metric. So do check it out if that interests you. There's a lot of good stuff I think that I provide, and then even too, we also talk about I have a strategies dashboard, and it basically allows you to investigate different strategies in terms of navigating the crypto market. And like if you say you want to go with a moderate risk tolerance or whatever it might be, you can figure out what strategy would work best for you. So check it out and let me know what you guys think. Also, if you have questions about it, then feel free to check out the Telegram channel. Again, I'll put that in the description below, or in the comments as well. So check that out. Someone says, how do you draw those regression lines? Yeah, it's just Pine Editor. It's just the Pine Editor in TradingView. Sorry, someone said about the banner competition. Yeah, so the reason I haven't gotten to the banner competition is just because I've been just inundated with so many messages and emails from people. I just haven't had time to systematically go through and give it a fair valuation. So I will be doing the banner competition results probably in the next week or so. Emma says, aren't we going too fast in Bitcoin price comparing the past cycles ROI? We are going fairly quickly. In fact, if you compare the current ROI from market cycle bottom to the last cycle, we're actually where we were last cycle. So, you know, in terms of a potential 4-year cycle, I still don't think it's the case. I think we're ultimately gonna slow down and not keep pace with it. But if we were to keep pace with it, or if we even with diminishing returns, right, we would want to see a $20,000 Bitcoin, a sustainable $20,000 Bitcoin within the next 4 months or so, 4 or 5 months. I think it's more likely that to see a sustainable $20,000 Bitcoin, it's probably going to take more like 14 to 16 months as opposed to 4 months. So for those 4-year cycle theories, it's mainly like, okay, we really need to get to 20K soon and start building on top of that. My perspective is it's going to take a bit longer to get to a sustainable $20,000 Bitcoin. Do we have any other questions? Looks like Bitcoin is around 11.7. Link has dropped back down to 12.6. I mean, to me, this looks like it's getting into bubble territory for sure. So the thing with bubbles though is you really have no idea how high they'll go. I mean, it could have topped out at $13.60. It could go to $20 and then come back down. It's really hard to say. This is why when I stick to dynamic DCA based on the risk levels. That's all I do. Someone says talk about Tezos. Yeah, I mean, we've had a few videos on Tezos before. I do think Tezos will probably do well during a theoretical bull market. I mean, I've said that. I think that coins like Bitcoin Cash, BSV, Litecoin, those will probably fall down in market rankings, while other coins like ADA and Link and Tezos, maybe even VeChain, while they slowly move up the ranks, right? So, yeah, that's my opinion. Q Loud Z said, when do you think Bitcoin all-time high will be broken? We've talked about it before, but in case you're new to the channel, I'll just show it again. Let me delete some of this stuff so it's not so messy. So the general thinking that I have, right, is that in the last cycle, it basically took us until we got to the fair value. So if you just draw a line over from the previous all-time high to when we broke it, we were in the regression band, right? We were at the fair value of the regression band to when we broke it. So my thinking, right, is that if we do something similar, we're going to be at the same, like we'll maybe be at, like, say, the fair valuation. So you imagine that if this continues to slowly trickle up like that, and the price of Bitcoin maybe goes into a speculative bubble, comes back down, maybe just trends upwards slowly, I would expect a sustainable $20,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2021 or beginning of 2022. This is what I expect. I could be wrong. I admit that I could be wrong, but this is what I expect to happen. And even with this, I mean, it's possible we come up to 20K earlier, but then I think if we do, we would probably get rejected by it, and then we would come back down and slowly continue to move up. Someone says, how do you cash out when you have 15 to 20 Bitcoin valued at 1 million? Should you trust exchanges to hold for you those kinds of money until you withdraw? No, I mean, it's not your keys, not your crypto, right? I mean, you should own the private keys to your coins. Someone said, hi Ben, instead of increasing your premium content prices, can you turn on ads and super chat for YouTube? Unfortunately not. I prize the channel because I don't have on ads. I don't want you guys to deal with ads. I just want to bring you the content ad free. I want to bring you the content without having super chat enabled. My thinking is that if you really want to tip me, then just buy access to the premium list, and if it's too expensive, then just invest that money, right? I mean, if the premium list is too expensive, then it'd probably be better off that you just invest that money anyways. So just do that, and don't worry about giving money to me. I think it would just make more sense that if it's a significant portion, right, then of your like weekly DCA or monthly DCA, then it would make more sense to to just either invested or whatever. But yeah, that does remind me, the prices will be going up in a few weeks, and if you get in now, you will be grandfathered in at the lower price. So I'm not going to raise the prices on the people who are already on the premium list. But once they go up, they'll you know, they're basically going to go up because, I mean, you know, just supply and demand. I have limited amount of time, limited amount of people that I can interact with, so I have to raise the prices. What other questions do we have? I mean, in terms of the liquidity demands, yeah, I see someone GD just keeps being a troll. So I gave you several chances to not be a troll. But since you want to be a troll, I'll quickly remove you from the channel. And I will now not have to see your messages anymore. And now that you're gone, I'll talk about Nano, right? Because we have talked about Nano. So, I mean, the thing with Nano, right, is it's feeless and it's instant. The primary competitor for Nano, including the primary competitor for coins like Bitcoin Cash, for, you know, XLM, any coin that wants to be like a peer-to-peer, is that your primary competition, in my opinion, will be a stable coin, one that isn't fluctuating in price. So this is, you know, I have no problem talking about the different coins, but this is just, it's just a fact that those are a peer-to-peer, the primary competition will be stable coins. And I think Nano is around $1. It's not going to mean that Nano can't go up in a bull market. I mean, it certainly could, especially if the Bitcoin fees skyrocket, and then that narrative, right, of a feeless instant currency takes off again. I mean, it went from $1 to $38 last cycle. So I'm not saying it has to do that again, but I'm just saying, like, you know, with any asset, there's competition. With Ethereum, it's going to have competition. Obviously, Ethereum has a huge head start. With anything, right? I mean, any project has to maintain itself ahead of the competition, because the competition will chew you up and spit you out if you kind of like start sleeping on it for a while. So, I mean, that's the truth. Like, I've talked about several different coins. I'm not trying to avoid any questions. It's just there's a lot of questions you guys are throwing at me. Now Muse is hidden from the channel too. You know, one of the nice things about the live streams is that it brings all the trolls out, and I can quickly ban them from the channel. Someone says, do you think Ethereum will go below 300, or should I wait my DCAs higher now? You know, I just DCA, man. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the short term. Some guy says, Binge, have you taken profits on Link? Yeah, of course I've taken profits. I mean, I still have a lot of Link, but I mean, I mean, I systematically take profits on the way up. Yeah, so my thoughts on ADA, you know, it pumped like 600%, right? It pumped 600% in a few months, and we followed it every step of the way. Now my opinion on it is the reason it hasn't dumped back to 10 cents or something is because the markets have stayed so bullish. So this is the primary reason I think it hasn't dumped. If Bitcoin weren't this bullish, then ADA would already be below 10 cents probably. But since the markets are still alive and Bitcoin is moving up, it is maintained that ADA has continued to hold its ground at around 14 cents. And eventually, you know, if the markets continue to stay like this, it'll probably continue to move again at some point. But you have to remember that it did move up 600% in about 3 months. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, this is why I diversify, you know, when you know, and we talk about Bella, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, and ADA. When Bitcoin was not doing too much, ADA was moving significantly. Link moves significantly. Then when Bitcoin goes up, it starts to dance with Ethereum, and then those go up, and then ADA sits still. And then today, Bitcoin went down, or yesterday, Bitcoin went down, and then now Link is going up. So it's just a way to improve your risk-adjusted returns to reduce your overall volatility exposure in the market. Someone said, can you explain why Litecoin will likely lose market share? Let me show you guys something. Let me see if I can. We're going to go to Coin Market Cap. All right. So are you guys looking at Coin Market Cap? All right. So we're looking at Coin Market Cap. And what I want you to do is I want you to take note of where Litecoin is on the chart. Where is it? It's number 9. Number 9. Now, if you go to Tools and you go to Historical Snapshots, let's look to see where Litecoin was in, let's say May 26th of 2013. Where was it? It was number 2. So in 2013, Litecoin was number 2. Okay? Where was it in 2015? Let's go to 2015, February. Where was Litecoin in 2015? It was number 3. Where was it in 2016? Let's go to February. It was number 4. Okay? Are you guys with me so far? Where was it in 2017, of February? Oh, it was also number 4. Let's go to August of 2017 and see where Litecoin was. It may also have been, okay, it was number 7, okay? Let's go to the end of 2018. Let's go to November 25th, 2018. It was number 7. And then let's go to August 2nd of 2020. Let's go to a week ago. It was number 7. And then today, as we said, it's number 9. So generally speaking, you can see that Litecoin is slowly moving down the ranks. This is just what the data says. Emma Mandrill says, what about S&P? Can you share the current risk level? Sure. You know, the risk level of the S&P today, I think, is 0.72. Edwin Kolunga says, what coins do you see being in the top 10 in 5 years? Well, Bitcoin for sure. Ethereum, XRP. A lot of people don't like XRP, but it'll probably still be there in the next, let's say, 5 years. It'll still be there in the next 5 years. So let's just go ahead and assume that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP will still be in the top 10 in 5 years. I think that there's a decent chance that Chainlink and Cardano will be in the top 10. Probably Tether will be in the top 10 if you want to include that one, for better or for worse. Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, I think will not be in the top 10. Litecoin, I don't think will be in the top 10. I could see Tezos being in the top 10. Potentially Binance Coin. What I'd be looking for with Binance Coin, it's one of those coins that's kind of like you don't really think about that much, but if Binance, if Binance continues to have a lot of the market share in terms of trading, and then it's possible that Binance Coin is one of those ones that somehow it's in the top 10 because people buy it for whatever to reduce their fees or whatever. So I think for sure Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP will be in the top 10, and then Chainlink and Cardano. So that's 5. Let's count Tether, so it's not as hard on me. So that's 6. Let's say Tezos 7. I'll go with Binance Coin 2 and say 8. And then 9 and 10. I mean, to be completely honest, 9 and 10 in 5 years might not even exist right now, right? Because you could certainly imagine. The Crypto.com coin it's not even that old, and it's already number 11. So if you click on Crypto.com coin, you can see it's only been around here since 2019. So it's certainly possible that some of the coins in the top 10 5 years from now don't even exist today, right? So that's a certain possibility. But those are at least the ones that I'm thinking. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Chainlink, Cardano, maybe Binance Coin, Tezos, maybe VeChain. I don't know. Probably some of these though. Maker's one that's interesting, and Cosmos, and Maker. I know a lot of people have been talking about Band Protocol, and it's been doing pretty well. You can see it's up 34% today. But yeah, you guys get it. It's those are just my speculations, but the market's going to look a lot different in 5 years. And the reason why when I say this is because if you look at a historical snapshot, let's look at a historical snapshot from the peak in 2013. Let's take it December 29th. Bitcoin, Litecoin, XRP, Omni, Peercoin, Nax, Namecoin, Quark. Most of you guys have probably never even heard of these coins. But back then, it was just kind of like they're in the top 10. So, in 5 years, the market could look completely different, right? People coming into the market in 2025 might look at, at some of these coins that are up there today and be like, what are these coins? Like, I've never heard of them. Like, if some of them kind of move up and then quietly disappear. So it's really hard to make predictions too far out. I'm the White Rabbit says you get grandfathered in if you just buy 1 month. Yeah, you get grandfathered in. You don't. Yeah. Gribbon-san, I know that Nano is feeless. Stablecoins have fees. This is why I've spoken about Nano on the channel, right? I've spoken about it, and I wouldn't have spoken about it if I didn't think it was interesting. It's just that I do think that the world will face stable coins as a competitor. That's just my opinion. Aeronor104 says, do you think XRP is going up? Well, we've talked about XRP a lot over the last few days because so many people are always asking me what I think about it. And what I've thought about it has not changed, right? It's the same thing. It's, you know, until let me delete some of this stuff. Until Bitcoin gets to its prior all-time high, I'm not super interested in it. I mean, you can see again in March of 2017 is when it saw its major move, right? In the first quarter of 2017, which again corresponded to Bitcoin getting to its previous all-time high, right? So if you look at XRP, it moved when Bitcoin got to its previous all-time high in 2017. When Bitcoin got above the 20-week, it was in 2015, and then it held it as support in early 2016. And you can see that XRP during that time had a good move. I mean, it went up like 60%, but ultimately it still bled against Bitcoin until Bitcoin got to its previous all-time high. So if you look at the present day, you know, and as I said before, it's not uncommon to see these moves, right? I mean, we've seen these moves with XRP before, right? These 40% moves, 50% moves, but ultimately it has not changed the fact yet that it is still trending down with respect to Bitcoin. So again, a lot of people don't like that I say that, but it is my opinion that there's a better chance that XRP will bleed against Bitcoin than there is it will see one of these major pumps in the short term. So if I were to ever buy XRP again, it would be around the time that Bitcoin is getting to its previous all-time high, and I would want to basically see this ratio continuing to bleed a little bit. Rad Vadi decides he wants to act like a middle schooler. So, with one click, I can hide you from my channel forever. Ciao. Yeah, so Luis Velasco says, Ben, please give me your take on capital gains tax burden with relation to holding versus selling. Yeah, so if you're holding, I mean, the reason why I don't talk about taxes too much is because it depends on where you live, it depends on your tax bracket, and it depends on if it's long-term or short-term capital gains. So if it's long-term capital gains, then you're obviously a lot better off because you have a much lower tax rate. And that's why I say that I think 2019, 2020, and 2021 are the best accumulation years, because I do think that we're going to see lengthening cycles. And it'd be better, right, to be able to cash out a lot of your crypto with long-term capital gains in, say, 2023, where you can pay the long-term capital gains tax as opposed to the short-term capital gains tax. Yeah, they got banned. I really should do live streams more often because they bring the trolls out, because the trolls can say something and then immediately solicit a response from me. So it's kind of nice because I can just hide them and I don't have to see them again. Someone said, do you think Ethereum can get back to 0.15 ratio against Bitcoin? It could. I mean, it could go higher. If it gets to that point, though, we're really getting in a speculative bubble waters, so I would just be careful if you see that happen. It's hard to tell you. I mean, someone says, is Link a good purchase right now? I mean, I can't tell you, man, what's good in the short term. I mean, there's a chance that it retraces, right? And there's a chance it keeps going up. It depends on what your time horizon is. Someone says I need to find illiquid coins to tell everyone to market buy. Yeah, I'm not doing that. We're not gonna pump stuff up. I don't want to take advantage of people that view the channel. Chris says, any thoughts on profit strategies, reinvest or keep profits while monthly DCA? Yeah, it's a good question. It depends on what your goals are. If you invest in several asset classes, you could always take profits out of crypto when there's a bubble forming and then put it into other asset classes. If your primary goal is to say accumulate as much Bitcoin and Ethereum as you can, then you could use other altcoins to ride those moves to then DCA back out into Bitcoin or Ethereum or like whatever that coin is that you're trying to accumulate, right? So, this is a good reason why. I mean, of course, right? There's fundamental reasons why many of you like certain altcoins, and again, I mean, it's just that altcoins really bleed, really badly when Bitcoin bleeds. So I try to use them to overall increase my Bitcoin and Ethereum positions, but I do hold a lot of Link. Link is one of those ones that I've said before. I think it's too risky not to hold it for a few years. And then I do hold ADA and a few others as well. Louis says he's signing up today. All right, great. We'll see you there. We do have if you do sign up for the premium list, make sure you send me a message on Telegram, and I'll get you added to the alerts channel. Do you believe ADA is a good form of passive income via staking? Yeah, but I think that staking will not keep the majority of people from selling it if it goes up, say like 10x or something. Like, even I've seen it a million times. People think that, oh well, it's going to keep people from selling. If people are going to make a lot of money by cashing out, it doesn't matter if they're going to earn 5% annually. They're still going to cash out. Does your membership include your methodology on non-crypto assets? Yeah, we do have a risk metric for the S&P 500, and I'm about to publish risk metrics for gold and silver. It would have already happened, but just with crypto moving so much, I haven't gotten time to do it. Will you be making an Into the Cryptoverse token set? Nope, I will not. Someone says if cycles are lengthening, then we might go through 2 halvings before the next bubble. It's possible. I agree that it's possible. I think that there's a better chance that the next peak will happen before the next halving, but that the next cycle will have 2 halvings in it. But yeah, there's a small chance that the next peak is after the 2024 halving. Do you believe Ethereum is heading, or do you think it will rise? I mean, again, it just depends on if Bitcoin stays even where it currently is, 11 to 12K, then Ethereum will probably go up. Do you think being 100% Bitcoin and Ethereum combined is okay? Yes, if you take data from 2015 and calculate out your your Sharpe ratio and the efficient frontier. The best Bitcoin Ethereum allocation based on risk adjusted returns is 60% Bitcoin, 40% Ethereum since 2015. Not including projected returns, but including past returns and historical volatility. And again, I mean, the past might not have any indication of the future, so that could be completely different. I mean, I do expect Ethereum to have a higher ROI this cycle than Bitcoin, but it has a higher risk. So, I mean, there's a lot higher risk with Ethereum than there is for Bitcoin. There's another stock market crash. Do you think that could significantly lengthen the current cycle? It could. I mean, I think that most likely the next peak will be around 2023. It could be 2024. So Clip says, what do you mean when you say risk with Ethereum? So I'm not talking about the risk metric there. I'm just talking about the volatility. So the historical volatility of Ethereum, if you're talking about modern portfolio theory and modern portfolio and the efficient frontier, then volatility is treated as risk. So you can look at the Sharpe and Sortino ratios to identify your risk, and Ethereum has more risk and or volatility than Bitcoin. That's to the upside and the downside. Yeah, I mean, I would recommend keeping your crypto in a place where you hold the private keys, not on an exchange. If Ethereum 2.0 fails, what else could you see getting to the number 2 position? Well, I mean, Cardano is my primary hedge against Ethereum. That's no secret, and it has been since it was 2 cents, and now it's 14 cents. Do you day trade at all? No, I don't day trade. If anything, I would say I swing trade key momentum shifts in the market. I don't really have an opinion on the MCO CRO swap. Can we get a few more likes? Can we get to 400 likes? We're at 313. Does anyone know of any horror stories of people keeping coins on the exchange? Yeah, I mean, look at 2013, right? If you go back here, that was when Mt. Gox was hacked. I mean, this is when a lot of people lost a lot of money. I mean, and even in 2017, there were a lot of exchanges that all of a sudden just disappeared. So I would not recommend keeping your coins on the exchange. All right, I keep seeing people say Tezos. We'll take a quick look at Tezos. Yeah, I mean, Tezos is one of the ones I could see itself wiggling its way into the top 10. Certainly. Again, it's a nice trend upwards. You know, from 2019, slow trend up. So I mean, yeah, Tezos is a coin that I could see continuing to make itself make its way to the top 10. Let's actually pull up Tezos Bitcoin, because that's probably more useful to look at anyways. Yeah, I don't really follow EOS that much. Yeah. Yeah, so here's XTZ Bitcoin. So I mean, you know, since March, it's not the best trend, right, against Bitcoin. I mean, looking at a coin like Link or ADA has a much better trend against Bitcoin for the last few months. But I mean, at least at least it's not going down, right? I mean, there's a lot of coins that have just lost value. At what point do you think Bitcoin dominance could go down? Well, when Bitcoin makes a big push to 20K, the Bitcoin dominance will go up. After it gets to 20K, the Bitcoin dominance will probably crash significantly as other coins start to make a move. Why do you think ADA will succeed? Well, I mean, I just think that they've actually done a really good job of building out the back end. I think that, you know, by not doing proof of work first and then having to have the headache of switching to proof of stake, they just decided to go straight to proof of stake. The primary hesitation with ADA and Cardano is just, are people going to build on top of it? Ethereum has a head start, but now Ethereum has to worry about switching to proof of stake. So, you know, in terms of ADA, it could provide a timely solution if Ethereum 2.0 continues to get delayed, and then people will switch over to Cardano, and if people start building on it. Obviously, the primary hesitancy with Cardano, and the reason it's not priced higher than it currently is because we don't know yet if people are actually going to build on top of it. Based on the regression band, was the high and low? Well, you can see the current low is around $6,000. The high is around $13,000. The middle part of the band, so the fair value is around $8,900. And then the sell region currently at the top would be $45,000 up to around $68,000. But note that this monotonically increases, so by the time we get to that point, you know, it could be a lot higher. Okay, we'll pull up ADA. Yeah, so this is what we've looked at with ADA before, right? And trying to, you know, determine are we heading back down, or are we gonna make a push back up to the next band? Well, I mean, if Bitcoin holds steady, then ADA might start moving again. But if Bitcoin continues to go up like this and it goes to 12K and then 13K, I would expect the ADA Bitcoin ratio to probably bleed back down. So that's what I would expect. Someone said, will you still do the link Ethereum Bitcoin dance if Ethereum and Bitcoin are outside the accumulation zone? Probably not. I mean, at that point, it's just take profits to USD, call it a day. How long did it take you to reach this point of knowledge of the crypto markets? I first heard about Bitcoin in 2011, got burned in 2013, you know, during the crash, learned my lesson, and did better last cycle. I first learned about it over here, though, in 2011. I was an undergrad taking a cryptography class. I was a math major in undergrad. I mean, it's not like I had a lot of money at that point because I was an undergrad. So I did not own any Bitcoin back over here, you know, got burned up here, did a lot better last cycle, and now I'm trying to just create a YouTube channel. The reason why I did not create one earlier was because let me show you, from 2013, so from right here, so from May of 2013 to September of 2018, I was doing my PhD. So this is why I did not do a YouTube channel. What's your opinion on XRP? So I would recommend that you just scroll back a little bit in the video because we already talked about XRP. Yeah, crypto is more stable than the early days. We've showed before that the annualized volatility is reducing. Cycles are lengthening, and the ROI from market cycle bottom is reducing. I think when I did the extrapolation, a somewhat dubious extrapolation, we would expect a 10% Bitcoin fluctuation annually no earlier on average than 2040, I believe. Is there a way to buy gold directly using BTC? That's another topic. There actually is. I mean, there's actually a crypto, I think, that tracks gold. Harry Chapman says, would you argue putting more money into crypto before a tax safe haven account like ISA or Roth IRA for US if you're a younger investor? I mean, this depends on where you see crypto going. I mean, if you're going to put it in Bitcoin, I mean, I don't want to tell you what to do if you're talking about like retirement. I mean, retirement is important. You shouldn't just go gamble all your money away on a volatile asset class. With that said, I mean, you could diversify, right? And you could put some into Bitcoin and some into that. It doesn't have to be like an all or nothing approach. This is not financial advice. Yeah, PAXG tracks gold. So if you're wanting to try to track gold, by the way, I don't own Pax Gold. I'm just saying, like, I know that there was one that tracks it. I have no recommendations on how well it tracks it or how confident I am in that. I just know that there was one. So I'm not saying you should go buy that. I'm just saying that there is something out there that I think you can get exposure to gold from Bitcoin. Of the Bella, so Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, and ADA, considering no prior crypto, what percentage should one put in each coin? I would just DCA into it based on the risk levels. Bitcoin, I mean, certainly if I didn't own anything, I would first buy Bitcoin, and then if I owned Bitcoin, then I would buy Ethereum. If you guys like the content, I will remind you again, you can check out the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. You'll get access to the risk levels. You'll get access to the premium Telegram group with alerts. There's also a chat group as well. So if you join the premium Telegram group, there's a chat group that you'll be linked to, and you get access to a premium video every single week and a newsletter every single week. So check that out. And I will remind you, there's also the Telegram group that you guys should join. You can always ask questions in there, so check that out. Cashing out strategy for Bitcoin is in your premium membership. Yeah, I mean, we go through, there's actually an entire worksheet on dynamic dollar cost averaging your sells for Bitcoin. And then the premium content for this week, which I guess the premium members don't know about, so now you'll know about it. It's going to be a dynamic DCA strategy sell, where you can play around with it. You can anonymously put in the amount of Ethereum you have and what you project the peak will be, and then it'll tell you based on different strategies, what types of profits you may expect. So that's going to be the premium list for the video and newsletter for tomorrow. Any books to learn math modeling of markets? I don't really know of any. I didn't really read any math modeling books for markets per se. It's just once you go through like a PhD or an undergrad in STEM fields, you learn how to think, and then you can just apply that to markets. Someone says, if we join now, do you see all historical videos? Yeah, you get an email with all the historical stuff. Someone says, how did you get burned in 2013? It's not that I didn't like lose my crypto on the exchange. I didn't sell in 2013. And so I learned my lesson. You know, I was like, okay, well, you know, I learned the game. The game won. Or this was 2011. So the game won in 2013. I said, I'm going to beat the game in whenever. I didn't know that it was going to be 2017, but I feel like I beat the game this time. So it's just a matter of taking profits, right? Systematically taking profits and recognizing you don't know where the top is. So, I mean, like taking profits essentially on the way up, admitting you don't know where the top is, and then when you look back on it, you can say, you know what, I did a good job because I took profits like here, 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 and here. Did not know the top was 20K, but I sold a lot around that level. That reminds me, if you do sign up for the premium content, there's 2 newsletters you'll get access, or 2 reports: Bitcoin letters, Ethereum letters, and altcoin letters. So 3 of them, and they're all really long. So Bitcoin letters is 21 pages. So if you want to see a lot of charts, that's one where you can see a lot. Do you watch any other crypto YouTubers? I used to. I don't really have much time to anymore, just because I'm just so busy with my own stuff. But yeah, I would watch some other YouTubers. One of the guys I watched, he mainly focuses on news. Altcoin Daily. Maybe you guys have heard of him. The frequency of posting in the premium content. Well, I post the weekly video and newsletter once a week, and then I do alerts more frequently. Someone says I was featured on Crypto Zombie. That's how I found you. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've heard of Crypto Zombie before. I've seen some of his stuff. Yep, I agree. Aaron and Austin do a great job. They're the Altcoin Daily guys. The alerts are just about my they're just on my thoughts on the market, what I'm doing, the dynamic sell levels, that sort of stuff. Did you get YouTube troubles during the Great YouTube Purge? No, I have not yet. Yeah, I think I do remember Crypto Zombie giving me a shout out when I had like 2,000 subs. And in November of 2019, I had 500 subscribers. So it took me I started the channel in June of 2019. It took me 5 months to get 500 subscribers, and then it took me another 5 months to get like 19,000 more subscribers. So it's crazy how quickly things can grow. Someone says, do you think it could go back to 6.7K? Well, I mean, if we go back to the 200-week moving average, it's certainly possible. The 200-week moving average is currently at 6,300. So again, always be ready for that. Doesn't mean we're going to go back there, but there's always a chance, right, that we come back to this level. One of the things that you note is whenever the 200-week crosses the regression band, so it looks like it's about to do it here in a few weeks, when it did that last cycle, so if you scroll back, once the 200-week went below the regression band here, it stayed well below it, right, and did not come back into it until, right after the peak of the next cycle. So it looks like we're about to get to that point. I don't know if it's going to repeat. I'm just making the observation. I don't think Bitcoin is going to 100 grand in 2021. Yeah, my kids are starting to act up a little. I think they're crying because they heard me talking about XRP. Remember to check out the Telegram group. Kind of curious, so let's see where Link is. Alright, 1270. Can we get a few more likes? We're at 403. It's really hard to project more than a few years out. I don't know how long projects will endure in the space. Ethereum is still in the middle of this channel, basically. We'll see if it can continue holding up. I'm optimistic if Bitcoin stays at this level. Yeah, I mean, someone says, hi Ben, what are your thoughts about allocating 5 to 10% of a portfolio on highly speculative plays, less than $10 million in a bull market? I'm assuming you mean like market cap, a small market cap coin. I think that's fine, actually, and it's not that I don't ever invest in small market cap coins. It's just that I don't shill them on the channel because I don't want to be associated with like pumping up coins that I own that I think I can significantly influence the volume of and the price of, because I don't want to come off that way, so I purposely don't talk about low market cap coins. That doesn't mean I've never invested in them or never will invest in them. In fact, the last coin that I spoke about on the channel that was a low market cap, it's now up a lot higher. So it's just that, you know, I purposely stay away from those coins. Yes, I think the stock to flow model is flawed. Someone said, what starts alt season? Holding the 20-week or Bitcoin hitting the all-time high. I think, I think that some coins really move when Bitcoin gets to the 20-week and holds it, and then other coins like XRP and Litecoin, a lot of coins won't really start to make huge moves until Bitcoin gets to the prior all-time high. Hey, my says you never trade, bro. I mean, in the alerts channel, I talk about the trades all the time. So I think you're just a troll on the channel, and you want to be removed. So thank you for alerting me to that. I don't know the best way to buy Bitcoin in the UK. I don't live in the UK. I have no idea if VeChain will ever reach $1. Maybe. All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up. If you guys want to see the premium content, remember to check out the premium list intothecryptoverse.com. Also, be sure to check out the Telegram channel, the public Telegram channel. You can always join that community. We have a lot of people in that community. Over 5,100 people, so make sure you check it out. It's growing rather quickly. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the show. We'll obviously continue to follow the markets as we continue on. So that'll wrap it up for the video. I will see you guys next time. And now I just need to